So, Antonia, you and I have, after many decades on this earth, not too many, but many decades on this earth, we found ourselves here in the middle of our lives where we have our parents who have aged into elderhood. Your father, unfortunately, has passed away at this point, but your mother's aged into elderhood. My parents have. And we have children and dependents that look up to us as parents and the adults in the situation. And I've realized that at midlife, there is no more opportunity for me to adulting at all. I have to actually be an adult and show up in a mature way as a person that kind of is between two worlds. I feel the squeeze of the most time, financial responsibility, like health, like everything feels pressured right now.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for all the middle-aged people I ever made fun of for getting older or because it's tough. For me, at least, I don't want to speak for you, but it's a challenge being at this part of life.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. A lot of changes are happening and a lot of responsibilities come on our shoulders, I think, as midlifers. They're very unique to this time period. Mm-hmm. Do you experience something very similar?
Yeah, absolutely. The squeeze is the perfect way to explain it. And yeah, I mean, nobody cares, right? Like 100% of people are completely unsympathetic. Well, not 100%. Everybody else going through the same thing is like, yeah, it's a thing. But when you're young, it's almost like you have disdain for people who survived into midlife and older. Well, it's like you should have died young or something.
And we don't get student discounts anymore.
No. Right? No, you get nothing. You get the most taxed, the highest prices, the most dependence upon you. Yeah. Right? You still have that little bit of energy from youth, but every day you're like, why am I tired? Why am I sore? What's happening? Because everything's sort of descending, right? Yeah. And yeah, it's I would say that there are a lot of great things that come from being in midlife. It's an extraordinary opportunity, and it really is this beautiful intersection of the last of my physical youth with the beginning of a totally different, mature, seasoned way of looking at things. Yeah. And so I have a feeling that this is actually a really nice time period. I'm trying to kind of slurp it up as much as I can. Yeah. But there are disadvantages, which is, and then everybody's like, you should be doing everything.
Well, and existentially, the thing I struggle with is I feel like I'm standing on the precipice of my own irrelevance. Like, because I look at older people, I saw a post on social media somewhere, some 70-year-old man, this young person was interviewed, what's it like to be 70? And they kind of joked a little bit, but then they said, well, basically you see the world the same, you've always seen it, but you notice that other people see you very differently. You don't see yourself differently unless you're looking in the mirror and you're looking out through the windows of your eyes. Everything looks the same to you. I mean, there's changes in your life, but people all of a sudden respond to you differently. And he said, I feel like I'm worthless at the age of 70. I feel like no one gives me the time of day. I feel like I don't have a lot. Other people don't think I have a lot to offer. And I'm standing on the precipice of that going, I don't want to be irrelevant. I want to stay relevant. I don't want that to fade away. And that's a tough thing to confront at this point of life.
Yeah. Well, and we used to honor people who had survived that long. And so they weren't irrelevant. They were the sources of oral traditions and institutional knowledge about culture, and they were people we tapped into for wisdom. And because it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal to survive later, and because we have such a ridiculous bias towards technology, and the younger you are, the more adept you are with technology, there's this sense that older people don't have anything left to offer. And I will say 100% of us this time, 100% of us have that to look forward to. Even if it's in your distant future, it's coming. Well, you're lucky if it's coming. If it's not coming for you, if that irrelevance later on is not coming for you, that means you died young. So all of us have that to look forward to. So it's kind of sad. It's sad that we no longer have the reverence and respect for people in their elderhood that we once did. And so, so we're going to be those people.
So someone that spent some time talking about midlife was the same person that we based the Myers-Briggs system on and personality type, that we work with, which is Carl Jung. He spent a lot of time talking about midlife. In fact, he was unique in that a lot of people at his time and even now don't really address midlife in the same way that maybe elderhood or young adults are addressed, or even childhood development. Like midlife's, again, it's kind of ignored in a lot of like social sciences and all these things. There's some, knowledge around it. But Carl Jung was very focused on this. This was something very important to him. He put a lot of focus and attention to this time period of life.
Yeah. In fact, I would say that his research on it is some of the best still to this date.
Yeah.
And it's because, like you said, midlife, the Gen X of the levels of development. And it's interesting that Gen Xers, who are also totally ignored, are in midlife. That is a totally ignored time period. So, it's that's a very interesting convergence. But that said, midlife is a fascinating time period, or all of a sudden it has become to me, probably because I'm entering it. But midlife has a lot to offer in terms of development. And we don't always see that. And I think because it's ignored and neglected, most people are not encouraged to use midlife in this way. Like we could be using it as a rebirth time period. And we don't always do that because we don't know that that's just sitting on the table for us.